For me, violence should not be part of our electoral process, irrespective of whatever we're campaigning for. You know, I believe that politics should be convergence of ideas. What can you offer to the people? How can you improve the lots of our people of Kogi State? You know, so it should not involve violence. But I'm just a bit worried that the violence, I don't know, is tilted towards just some particular sections. It's not like the entire state or the entire candidate. So we might need to investigate to know why, you know, why we are experiencing that level of violence, because we have over 10 candidates contesting in the election. Some people go around the state freely, not unhindered, unattacked, but some other people face some level of attacks and so we don't know what actually. I don't like commenting on things I don't really know much about, you know, but I think there should be something beneath it, and all I can say is to appeal to the parties to spare the people of Kogi State. You know, let's have peace. And I believe strongly that no ambition of any individual running for governor of Kogi State is worth the life, the blood of any citizen of Kogi State. If we truly want to offer service, then the election should be violent-free. But like I said, it has to be investigated why this level of violence directed at some particular candidates, you know, because it's not a general thing. I have not started my campaign fully. We've been consulting and we've been doing the grass work. So I have not been attacked, and I hope not to be attacked, you know, but I just call for peace. Peaceful electioneering period, campaign, and all those stuff, and that's it for me. Fortunately and unfortunately, I have no option than to have confidence in INEC. Because as it is today, they are the only electoral body recognized by law, by the laws of Nigeria, to conduct election. So we only keep appealing to the INEC chairman and his team to conduct a very credible election in Kogi State come November 11th. We know there were problems, protests about the February 25th election and all those stuff, but we appeal to INEC. They have the capacity, they have the power to do the right thing to conduct a free and fair election. So let them please save the people of Kogi State and conduct a free and fair election. First and foremost, I believe that for any contestant or any candidate to take that bold step, it takes a lot of courage for you to even put yourself up that you want to contest for election. So for anybody to take that bold courage, you must have a certain level of conviction within yourself. You must also have some programs, some activities you intend to carry out for the state. So, but like I said, it's a convergence of ideas. We have different ideas, different aspirations, different ways to handle our ideas and our aspirations and everything. But I believe that the idea I have for Kogi State is the best. We have the best idea to turn around the fortune of the state. Because like I keep saying, Kogi State is a blessed state. We don't have to be where we are. I tell everybody, whenever I go for interviews, I talk to people, I always tell them, Lagos State as a whole has a landmass of 3,340 kilometers square. Lagos was the former capital of Nigeria. Lagos is surrounded by water. Lokoja, our state capital, has a landmass of 3,140 kilometers square. Former capital of Nigeria as well, surrounded by water. So if Lagos State is doing a turnover of tens of billions every month as IGR, why is Kogi not doing the same thing? Why is our IGR a far cry from where we are supposed to be. Is it not absurd that you have Kogi State, you have Lokoja in particular, with water where seaports and everything can be created? Why do you have to import things from all over the world into Nigeria and they come through Lagos? Then you transport them by road from Lagos to Lokoja, then before you start talking about the northern part. So Lokoja should serve as the seaport for the northern part of Nigeria. So what we want to do basically is just to harness the enormous potentials of Kogi State. Kogi State alone, I am telling you the truth, can feed Nigeria. That's the truth. You have states that are depending on the iron ore. Look at the Ajokuta steel, even though I know it's for the federal government. But Kogi has the potential to feed Nigeria. The largest rice mill in Africa and the third largest rice mill in the world is the Malta rice mill. That's in Lagos. The paddy that supplies the rice mill, the Malta rice mill, comes all the way from Kebbi. The distance from Lagos to Lokoja by road is between 7 to 8 hours because of the deplorable state of our roads. Whereas the distance from Lagos to Kebbi by road is about 18, 19, 20 hours. With the banditry and insecurity and everything, you know what that means. So is it not absurd, is it not a shame that Kebbi State with a landmass of 33,000 plus kilometers square and Kogi with a landmass of 29,833 kilometers square, the paddy that powers the rice mill, largest in Africa, comes from Kebbi, whereas also in Kogi, we don't have anything to show for. We have the capacity to supply rice to the Immortal rice mill, and above all, we have the capacity to build the largest rice mill in the world, in Africa, and even the world, in Kogi State, because we have the land, we have the soil. Our soil in Kogi State, Ibaji, Basa, and all over Kogi is the best, one of the best in the country. So I have the best ideas to turn around the infrastructure of the state. When I campaign, I tell people I have just one-point agenda. The one-point agenda delves into about 5-6 other points agenda. But the truth is that if you do not have funds, which is IGR, how can we generate IGR? If you don't have funds, how do you do the roads that we intend to do? We want to create, like the Chinese usually say, if you want to develop a country or a town, just create roads and infrastructure. So we intend to build roads, which is part of our agenda. All the 21 local governments in the state should be connected to themselves and also to the capital of the state, which is Lokoja. We want to create free healthcare service for our people. 0 to 18 years old should not pay a dime to be treated if they are sick. 60 and above should not pay a dime if they are sick. Then for the indigents, all we intend, what we just need you to do is just pay 10,000 or 15,000. We'll work it out when we get to government. It's not proper to stay outside and give exact figures or impressions of what you want to do. Pay this 10,000, 15,000 every year as your, your insurance, health insurance. And if you're sick, you go to the hospital and you'll be treated. Create world-class infrastructure. Revamp the primary health care system. If I'm from either local government, for instance, if I'm sick in either, I don't have to come to Lokoja for minor sickness. But if I need a major surgery, all the senatorial districts should have a world-class healthcare facility, a world-class hospital that can handle major surgeries in each of the senatorial zones. So how do you do that if you don't have IGR? How do you create these roads between all the local governments to Lokoja or all the local governments to themselves if you don't have the IGR? How do we intend also our policy for education is 0, primary, secondary, free, and compulsory. Then for tertiary institutions, if you're going to the university or polytechnic, you can take a loan and go to school, and it will be paid back once you start working and everything. So how do you provide this if you don't have the IGR? That's why it's not like the IGR is a major point of point of agenda. That's not, but that is the bedrock to other things that we intend to do in the state. Kogi, because of the strategic location of the state, should be known for two things. One, tourism. Because like I said, we are the only state in Nigeria that is surrounded by 10 states. 10. No other state has that privilege. We have a lot of monuments, tourism sites in Lokoja. So, you have in Lokoja, for instance, where the confluence of River Niger and River Benue, a 5-kilometer dome confluence of River Niger and River Benue. So the question I always ask myself, and I want everybody to ask themselves is, the Muhammad Al Maktoum of this world, are they not human beings? How were they created? How did they come into the world? A man goes into the desert and built the first and only 7-star hotel in the world in a desert, and people come from all over the world for tourism there. Then we have a natural gift, which is the River Niger and River Benue, the confluence point of River Niger and River Benue. What are we doing wrong? So there are so many things. We have ideas to turn around the fortunes of the state. Industrialization, very, very important. Dangote cement is a pride to Nigeria. Obajana cement in Dangote cement in Obajana is a pride to Kogi State and to Nigeria and to Africa. You know, we can set up a whole lot of that more. Don't forget that Kogi State government has a cement factory in Alo after Itobe. You know, so there are so many things. Agriculture in Basa, they have one of the most fertile soil for agriculture in the state. In Ibaji local government, they have one of the best soil. Look at Kogi is number 3 in ranking when it comes to agriculture in the state. Number 3. Cashew nuts. We are number 3. We are the 3rd highest producer of cashew nuts. You know, in cashew nut, nothing is a waste. Nothing. The juice, when you press it, that oil that comes from it is one of the most potent, one of the very important ingredients in the pharmaceutical industry. The shell is used for what? For one of the major components in the bed feeds, for beds, poultry feeds, you know, and so many other things. We have heritage sites in Kogi. We are not happy for the insecurity in the southeastern part of Nigeria, but if we create a good security network in Kogi State, and we have we have sites that people will be coming from Anambra, Enugu, Imo to come and do weekends in Lokoja and go back. Do you understand? Then education, proper primary education, build world-class teachers' college across the state, you know, train good teachers, build world-class educational facilities in the state. So there are so many things that can be done, that will be done. These are the things we've sat down. As a matter of fact, I've identified about 56 different industries that will be opened across Kogi State when we take over. In the first 1 year, 2 years, it will be there. You know, these things would in turn increase the IGR of the state. And once we have money, because let us be very sincere, when you take out the money that comes from the FAC today to Lokoja, to Kogi State, if you take out the staff salary, what is left is very meager. It's too little to do any meaningful development and everything. Do you understand? So the only way we can succeed, Lagos gets about how many billion every month, and they are generating hundreds of tens of billions every month as IGR. Look at Ogun State. Ogun State, because of its proximity to Lagos, look at what they are doing. The economy has turned around drastically. We share boundary with the FCT. What advantage are we taking? People fail to realize that Manchester is 2 hours, 30 minutes drive from London. But people live in Manchester and come to work in London every day and go back. If you're driving by road, it's about 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes. And with the tube, under 1 hour, you're in London. So we also thank the former President Buhari for signing into law the bill that enables states to build power infrastructure and also to go into to do rail service and everything. So Nasarawa State generates 70% of their IGR from Maraba, Nyanya. Why? Because of the proximity to Abuja. So we are one of the few states that are close to Abuja. The question is, what advantage are we taking of our proximity to Abuja? You see, in politics, so many things happen. You see, we must not run away from the fact that majority of these people, they campaign. They are doing it for stomach infrastructure. I'm sorry to say that. That's the truth. Stomach infrastructure is one of the major reasons why you see this campaign and cross-carpeting of people from one party to another and everything. The question is, I as an individual, if I'm going to leave my party to another party, the question is, what will be the reason why I'm going to another party? What are the advantages in that party? What are the track records of that party? What has that party done in the past 4 years or 8 years? These are the things we consider, you know. And I believe that when the chips are down, it's still too early. The election is November 11th. It's still too early. As we get closer, there will be decamping and recamping, jackbar and rejackbarring and everything. So what is happening now, with all due respect to all the people that are decamping, is just, I think for me, it's purely based on stomach infrastructure. So we are not worried. The program we have for the people, like I said, we've not started campaign. Once we go out and start the real campaign, proper campaign, people will understand our programs and people will come back. It has happened and it will always happen. It's not the first time it will happen. The reason why I'm here to kick up my campaign is because we had issues with my running mate. My running mate is Alhaji Yakubu Abubakar Bawa. He's from Lokoja constituency. But there were some errors, some mistakes. And the placeholder, who was the secretary of the party, Mr. Ben Woke, his name was not changed after my name was substituted with the placeholder for the governorship candidate. So those were the issues we were trying to resolve. And we thank God that God has seen us through. And why that was going on, you see, for me, politics, I'm an entrepreneur. Politics for me is not a do or die. I must not become governor because it's only God that gives. No matter how desperate I want to be a leader or a governor of the state, if God does not ordain it, there's nothing on earth I can do. It won't work. I'll just waste my time. So I have ideas to offer, and that is why I'm in the race. Now, the Igbo population in Kogi State is not that much. So going on the field to campaign with an Igbo man as a running mate, you know, it's, for me, I see it as a pure act of desperation, you know. So that's why we just felt, while we're trying to see how we can resolve the issue, let us work on the ground. So we've been doing our underground work all this while. That is for that. That is why we've not kicked off our campaign. But in the next few days, I will kick off our campaign firmly. Then as for the issue of consensus candidates, sadly and unfortunately, I'm an Igala man, but I do not believe in sectional or ethnic politics. I detest regional, sectional, religious politics. I don't play part of it. I think our leaders that rushed into endorsing candidates as consensus candidates, I think they were unfair to the Igalas and also unfair greatly to the people of Kogi State. Because election should not be about ethnicity, ethnic agenda, where you come from. Election should be about who is the most competent, who has the best idea to turn around the fortune of the state. We've seen what we've gone through since the creation of the state over 20-something years. Are we going to continue doing that? And in arriving at consensus candidates, what were the criteria that were used? I don't want to go into that, but I dissociate myself from any form of consensus candidate. I am a Kogi candidate. What I want to do is to build a Kogi governorship agenda, not to build. I'm not an Igala. I will not support, and I don't want to be part of the Igala consensus arrangement. All I want is let the best person come up and lead. So I dissociate myself from it. And I believe that when we get to the field at the right time, the right thing will happen. You see, there are so many things, there are so many variables that we need to look at. When the time comes and we feel that if there's a need to step down for anybody, this is what they were doing 5 months, 6 months ago. It was completely just like going to a war, going to a battlefield, and you are throwing up your arsenal for your enemies or your opponents to see. Even if you want to go about consensus candidate, this is a state where we, the Igalas, are the majority. There's no doubt over 60% of the population. We've been ruling. There have been this cry of marginalization that have been ruling for so many years. And by providence, by God, act of God, it fell on Yaya Bello. What we had expected and what the people are clamoring for would have been that he should go to the Kogi West so that we can balance the equation. But unfortunately, the governor, he has his preference and he has his reasons for his preference, went for his own brother from the same local government and the same water and everything. I think that's what has actually caused this problem in the state. So if there are some people that feel that since the creation of this state, we've played a major part, we've been following, because we cannot deny one thing. The fact is that the Kogi West people have always supported the Igalas. Let us be sincere. Kogi West has always supported the Kogi East over the years. And they are clamoring for a chance to govern, which we understand. But the problem with the average Igala man is that if the current government had done beyond expectation, had done extremely well, the governor, I'm not saying he has tried his best. He has given the best he thinks he has. But unfortunately, it's for the people of the state to determine if his best is good enough. But if he had done beyond the expectation of the people of the state, and especially my own section of the state where I come from, I think our people would have been a bit more liberal or more relaxed to say, okay, you know what, look at somebody from Central has come and has done very well, even done better than our own people from the East. Let us give someone from the West an opportunity to try his own luck and see. You understand? The truth is that we must understand and accept the fact that where you come from does not make you a good president or governor. Buhari is from where? Castina, from the Northwest. In his 8 years of rule, I think the North generally had the most brutal terrorist attack or brutal attack, banditry or whatever you call it. The economy of the North. I was listening to a program today on Channels, and I think Channels or Arise TV, and one of the people that came up this morning program on this station, one of the man from the North that came and was talking, he said the reason for the high level of banditry in Zamfara in the North is because of the high level of poverty and lack of education. Was Buhari not president for 8 years? Didn't they not give him all the necessary support? Didn't they idolize him? Didn't they worship him? Didn't they vote for him en masse? But how did he solve the problem of the people? So we are not afraid. But they can do any endorsement they want to endorse. It's good, fine and good. But we will do our best to produce the best quality, best leadership for the state. We will come up and campaign, tell the people our programs, what we intend to do. It's for the people to judge, and it's for God to crown our effort. As for stepping down for anybody, at this point of the race, it is not in contention. I've not seen anybody I should step down for. It doesn't mean that when the time comes, if we see someone better, if somebody advances a better argument, better than what we have, because as it is, we've not seen any plan. By the time we start our campaign, we'll roll out our blueprint, our manifesto, people would come to appreciate and understand what we want to do for the people of the state. So if anybody beats our plan or something, we can look at it and consider. But for now, we're not stepping down for anybody. It's not even on our agenda. We're not considering it for now. But who knows? We're not desperate to be governor. So I'm not desperate to be the governor of the state. So, like I said, as we go on and God guides and leads us, we'll know what to do when the time is right. You see, when you talk about incumbency, you can't wave it with a flash of hand. Incumbency, yes, has an advantage, but I'll be quick to remind you that in the just concluded March 16th election, governorship election, there was an incumbent governor in Zamfara State, and he was defeated by the candidate of PDP. In the Plateau State, there was also an incumbent governor, although he was not contesting for governor. He contested for Senate. He lost the election. And his candidate also, the governorship candidate also lost. So, power comes from God and the level of hard work you put into it. If you lie down on your bed and you keep sleeping and say God should come and wake you up and put food on your table, it will never happen. Gone are the days when such miracles happened. In the modern history, in the recent history, I don't think I've heard of where such miracles have happened, So you need to, it's when your preparations meet target that some other people call luck. In the real sense, there's nothing like luck in this world. There must be a preparation and there must be a target. And that is what we're out to do. To prove to the people that we have better ideas. Amongst all our brothers that have come out to contest for the election, we have better ideas. We have better plans for the state, and everything. So when we put in our best, we wait for God to crown it. But the fear of incumbency, not just in just a near distant future, 8 years, just about 8 years plus, a sitting president was defeated in this country. They do not have, the state governors do not have power over the army and the security. But the president has power over, is the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. All the security apparatus is the commander-in-chief. Was he not defeated? He was defeated. And that was what brought to bear the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. So we're not afraid of incumbency. To be very sincere, he has tried his best, but unfortunately the policies are not going down well. That's the truth. I think that he should have done a whole lot of them in a very different way. But the consolation I have is that the president is a listening president. He listens. It's one thing for people to complain, and it's one thing for you to listen. There are so many things people have complained about, and he has come out to address them. So we keep up. All I need to do is just to appeal to His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to continue listening to the cry of the masses, continue sampling opinions. It means well for the country. That is why he's coming up with this. Like you heard him say in his broadcast to the country, that the fraud in the subsidy regime is alarming. That was one of the things that led to him taking it off and all those stuff, But I know that at the same time, because of the suffering in the land, just yesterday, the CBN governor addressed a press conference at the presidential villa after the meeting with the president. And you heard what he told Nigerians, that the president is very, very worried about the spike in the dollar to naira foreign exchange in the country, and he has mandated them to do something about it. So if he is not a listening president, he will not take these actions that he's taking. So I advise people to keep speaking out, and I pray for God to give our president the wisdom to keep listening, the large heart to keep accommodating views from every spheres of Nigeria, whether you are APC, whether you are PDP, whether you are APGA, no matter the party, the platform, we all want the best for the country. As far as I'm concerned, the electioneering period has come to an end. And the electioneering period will only start in another 3.5 years from now. So for now, election has been won and lost, even though I'm fully aware that parties are still in court. But for now, in the eyes of the law, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, and this is time for governance. So we just pray that God will continue to grant him the wisdom and the patience, and to listen to Nigeria and then sieve all ideas, whether they are from his party or not, and let's just have the best for the country. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nothing. I just want to thank the people of Kogi State. I want them to remain focused, steadfast, and not to be afraid, not to be intimidated in the face of the violence and every attack that is happening. Even though, like I say, the violence is restricted to some certain people and we don't know what is behind the reason, But I appeal to the governor of the state. His tenure is gradually coming to an end, and we want him to leave a befitting legacy so that when all said and done, it should be noted that no blood was lost in Kogi State because we want to elect a governor for the state. And I also appeal to other candidates to campaign in the fear of God, to stick to the rules of the game. And in campaigning, there should be no attack on individuals or personalities, and everybody should do everything according to electoral. We are guided by the Electoral Act and everything. So let's play according to the rules. And God, in His time, will crown who He wants to rule the state. That is my prayer. And I also want to appeal to Nigerians to keep praying for the president, the National Assembly members, and the governors, because it's not easy. That's one of the things I want to experience if I'm giving. That's why I'm trying to run for this, because you see people that do very well in their business or in the outside world, but when they get into governance, it becomes a different world. But I cast that demon that will stop me from performing well if I become the governor. If there's any iota of or any what that will make me not to perform or to change from who I am now, then it's better I don't even become governor. God should give it to the person that He feels will do the right thing. But I know I have the right mind, and I pray to God to keep me on the right track.